Hey guys, welcome back. So recently I've been working on a series that'll come out a little later on, building a custom controller for Final Cut, just to help with video editing and put some features on a board rather than keyboard shortcuts all the time. Anybody that's watched the channel here and there anyway has probably seen this guy. This is my macro pad that I made. It's in the shape of a keyboard numpad. It's got a display, runs on an Adafruit Feather M4. I designed the circuit board. I soldered it up. I wrote the code. Well, customized the code. It runs KMK, Circuit Python based keyboard software. Anyway, so in going through the process of filming me design and next steps will be building. But anyway, designing the custom Final Cut controller, video 2 is an hour long, and it goes through my design process in a lot more detail than an overview video probably should. So while it might be interesting for somebody that wants to see all the components and all of the thought process that goes into something, I thought maybe we'd take a step back and do a short little series of videos just to give a high-level overview and get into that process. So this is the introduction for that little series. We are going to go over what it takes, skills, and tools needed to actually go from idea for something like a little macro pad to actually a physical device in hand. So let's start with just kind of listing out everything that I use. One, I use either QMK or KMK. And that is the software that runs the macro pad. KMK is CircuitPython. It's newer. It's, in my opinion, better simply because you don't need any other software other than a text editor to make it work. And you can take your macro pad to one computer, edit the code right there, make it do things, bring it to another computer and say, oh, you know what? I really need copy assigned to this key. And you can make that change right then and there without having to have a development environment set up. QMK, on the other hand, is C sharp. It's a C-based language. And it requires a development environment. It requires a little more get up and go on your part. You have the benefit there of it being much more widely supported and a great user community. So QMK, you have robustness and documentation. KMK, you have ease of use and a smaller amount of documentation. That's neither here nor there. They both can do the same things as far as a macro pad or a keyboard is concerned. So I use KMK or QMK. I use a text editor. I happen to use VS Code. You can use Atom. You can use Sublime Text. You can use pretty much whatever you want. And that's pretty nice. To actually get the designs implemented, I use a program called Easy EDA. You can use the app that you download, or you can use it in the web, which makes it exceedingly portable and easy to use. Generally, I go for Cherry MX style switches. They're cheap, they're readily available. You can put all kinds of keycaps on it. You can match your setup. Good there. If I'm putting a rotary encoder on, I generally go for an EC11 because they have an integrated switch. So You're not choosing, do I want an extra switch functionality or rotary? You get both in one package. And again, cheap and readily available. So that's it for software. As far as hardware is concerned, I've only ever used JLC PCB to have PCBs made, and they do a pretty good job. Shipping is quick, prices are reasonable. For this macro pad, it's got 3 PCBs, the back plate, the middle plate where the circuit board is actually printed, and then a plate that the key switches slot into. So for 3 PCBs, including I had the diodes surface mount soldered onto this just to reduce the amount of work that I had to do. It was right around, I want to say $40 shipped. Certainly the 2 blank plates are 5. You get minimum order is 5 of any quantity. So the plate that the the plate that the key switches slide into, and the back plate, which is screen printed, that was about $10 for the set, and then it was slightly more for having the surface mount components put on, but not unreasonable. Shipping is about $10 to $12 to the US anyway. So I'm going to estimate about $45. And that, on top of components, that's pretty good. For this little macro pad, it's just 2 plates, a top plate and a bottom plate, and really you don't even need the bottom plate. It's just, I wanted to experiment. That was around $20, $10 for the bottom, or for 5 bottom plates, $10 for 5 of the printed circuit board, $10 shipping, so $30, and I got 5 of them. Generally, I get my switches from keyboard shops like 1UP. For this macro pad, I've got 2U keys, so I needed to get some stabilizers. Again, keyboard shops like 1UP. Rotary controllers, in the quantity that I tend to buy them, Amazon is fairly good. I mean, you're always going to pay a premium, but you can get 10 for a couple bucks, and 10 is going to last you a while. So, keycaps. I had some left over from my Polaris build, and that's the GMK 80. I had some keycaps left over from my Polaris build, and that is GMK 808. So I've been using those. I did order some XDA keycaps from Amazon. It was $24, I want to say $8. So not terrible. Diodes you can pick up on Amazon, not a problem. Feathers, I tend to buy straight from Adafruit. If I'm using a Pro Micro, I'll get that probably on Amazon because you can buy a bundle of, say, 5 for $25, and that seems to be a pretty decent price when you factor in free shipping and all that. So that is what I use. I think in the next video, we're going to take a quick look at how to use Easy EDA and just give you a little overview of how that works. All right. Thanks, guys. And we will see you on the next one.